I kept going over the idea of doing an extra episode of about the demons because I didn't think I really covered a whole lot in the first three about specifically demons, and so I thought I would just go over some things for this final one, just to try to cover things like I said that I made it touched on, and I know there's things here that I didn't talk about at all. I made a list. So first of all, yeah, demon possession is real. There's two types. On a personal level, in a person's life, a demon can possess you, be inside you. They can control your actions, your movements, have control of your motor skills. So they pretty much take control. And a lot of times there's more than one. It's not just one demon. They travel in packs, and they will possess you altogether. So you could have a lot of demons possessing you. There's also demon manipulation, where they may not totally possess you, but they can put thoughts in your head. The famous voices in my head, the voices told me to do it. The voices won't stop talking to me. That's demon manipulation. Now, a demon possession, they can also do that. But there's a lot of, with the actual possession, there's a lot of factors in there that go beyond that. So just with demon manipulation, they can drive people crazy, get them to do things they would never do, and just mess with you. There's another aspect of probably demon manipulation that's out there now. I've heard a lot about it from different speakers. If you go to YouTube, put in sleep deprivation, you probably find a whole lot. But what that is another form of demon manipulation. They just mess with you. The biggest thing is that I've heard a lot is when you're trying to sleep, you just get fear come over you. A lot of people don't talk about this because they feel like it's embarrassing, but fear come over you, fright, terrified. A lot of people feel like weight on the bed or even on their chest, and they can't breathe. Suffocating kind of a thing, and they just feel like they can't do anything about it. They're paralyzed. One type of this, some people might have heard of these things. There's a succubus and an incubus. These are ancient terms. They're very ancient terms. And one focuses on females, and the other one focuses on males. I don't really remember which was which, but I just thought I would bring that in. It's actually kind of where the vampire comes into. They prey on people at night, and just cause them to be terrified, messing with them. People can open doors in their lives to allow these things in, and not just the succubus, incubus type thing, but there's shadow people. I've heard a lot. In fact, I've actually had an issue with that. I think there's different types of shadow people. They just look like a shadow. Like say at noon you're standing outside, or say, not say it's a time where you can see your shadow out to the side of you, and that's what your shadow looks like. Just a flat, two-dimensional dark image of you, a shadow. That's what these things look like, but they're not connected to anything. People are reporting seeing them with some funky hats on, different trench coats issues. They're not all the same every time, but they just look like a shadow. But they walk around through the middle of the room, just like you and I do, only they're a shadow. It's really strange. The other issue with the shadow type people, have you ever seen the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Well, when the Predator turned invisible, you couldn't see him, but you still kind of could, because he had the funky outline around his body. You know what I mean? That. There are reports of people seeing beings like this, and I've actually seen one myself. It was really surreal. I wasn't frightened. I wasn't terrified, scared, anything like that. Personally, I wasn't at the time. Uh, but I did. Yeah, I was sitting down, and this thing that looked like that just came out of the hallway, and it almost looked like it was frightened because it stopped and kind of froze. If you freeze, that you people can't see you. It was like that. The thing came out of the hallway and just froze, and I could just see these just slight movements, and then it turned around and went the way it came, and that was the end of that. But there are different types of shadow people, so those are two different types. Demons, they're such a pain in the butt. Demons can be summoned. Now there's going to be a lot of lying, a lot of lies, a lot of demons, doctrines of demons in this, but I'm just going to kind of go over it really quick and explain. Well, you'll understand when I get going. Demons can be summoned and invoked by, say, witches or sorcerers or wizards, or whatever they want to call themselves, people of witchcraft, sorcery, magic, in this world for real. It's real. It's out there. And they have rituals that they can perform, and they can call up demons to do their bidding. I know that's very Hollywood sounding, but it's true. They can have them do that. Hollywood isn't going to tell you like the truth and all that. But the fact, and just to so you're not left hanging, I guess, with my whole other lies thing. Demons live here. This is their home. Their boss, Satan, Lucifer, the devil himself, he runs the show. It's his show. He's the world. He's the ruler of the world right now. Christ hasn't taken it back from him yet, even though he could if he wanted to. It's not time for that. And all his demons and all his fallen angel followers and everybody, this is where they live. So they have been lying to everybody in witchcraft, witches, all of them, all those satanic type people in witchcraft that do this magic, and especially when it comes to the demons, which is pretty much all of it, I guess. But they're lied to. They've been lied to for ages, centuries. The demons rule this place. The demons want them to believe that the witches can control them, and they have to do what they're told. They want them to believe that because it involves faith, which totally takes over those people. I mean, faith is extremely strong. It's probably one of the strongest. I don't even know if it's an emotion or what exactly faith is, but it's super strong. It's one of our most strongest things that we have within us is faith. And if Satan can turn that around and lie about it, and yet those people are using their faith, that just because they're standing in like a circle of protection when they're summoning up a demon and that demon can't touch them inside that circle of protection, biggest lie. It's unbelievable to me. But anyways, that's kind of what I'm talking about. And it goes back, in fact, when I was telling you, I think it was part 3 or even 2, one of those, I was telling you about Enoch, how the fallen angels came down and they chose wives of all that they wanted, and then they had children who were the giants, the half-breed demon children things, Nephilim, whatever. Well, those wives that the fallen angels took to themselves, those were the origin of the witch. They were the first witches. They were where that whole thing came. That's their primal origin. If you get the book of Enoch and you read what those fallen angels are teaching their wives, that is witchcraft at its core. And so that was the beginning of that. And so that's where witches came from, was fallen angels marrying them, and then they had their family, which is messed up. But anyways, the last thing I wanted to talk about here, because I didn't want this to be super long, but it's turning out to be a little bit longer than I thought, is generational curses. Now, this applies really into the witchcraft area, because if a person participates and has faith in any type of witchcraft, that goes into their soul, and then they have a soul bond to that, and it can affect their children and their children's children and their children, and it's just a generational curse, and all their children will be involved somehow in one way or another in it. That's the way that goes. So don't get into that kind of stuff, because you are sentencing your children to the same thing. So I hope this has helped. I hope it's been more brings a little more clarity to the whole thing. I tried to just kind of cover some points, talk about things that I didn't to begin with. So anyway, end result, the whole end of the whole thing, you need Jesus Christ. He's got to be your king. He's got to be your savior. He's got to be your Lord. You got to give your life to him. And if you are in witchcraft or Satanism or any of those things, he loves you. He can save you, and he can forgive you anything you've done, everything that you've done, because he's love. So if you don't have Jesus, I highly consider it, and you're welcome. This has been, I think, my last one in this. This has been my last video in this topic, so there isn't going to be any more. So anyways, I hope this helped. Good night.